Verona then 2-1 winners over Juventus, and not some smash and grab. More shots for Verona, more shots on goal, and even more expected goals for the hosts against the league leaders. As you see it, guys, there, the stats tell the story. This was not unlucky from Juventus, was it, Stevie?
It's kind of the performance that we've seen a lot from Juventus, though, this season in particular.
But they bailed themselves out in other instances.
But it's kind of performance when Ronaldo scores that you think, oh, it's going to be the same old outcome. But then they make mistakes and they get punished for them on this occasion. But it very rarely happens. But they better be careful because, yes, they lost some goals today. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that really I thought was the biggest problem was going forward. Who's pulling the strings? Who's playing the through balls? Who's the little magician here in the middle? They don't seem to have anybody at all. They're relying on Cristiano doing what he does, which is exactly what he did in this game. Scores a goal from nowhere, and usually it ends up with 3 points. Not today, and I'll tell you what, they better be careful that this just doesn't become the norm.
What'd you make of Juve?
I cannot agree more with Stevie. The assessment of what this team has been over the course of the season is no different than what they were today. It's a handful of games in which Juventus has been truly dominant, where they have carried the pace of the game and dominated and created opportunities and put away those opportunities and finished the game comfortably. That hasn't happened as much as you may have thought this year for Juventus in Serie A. Now, people will say, well, they only lost this many games, and they found ways to get results. But if you look at the totality of the performances, then you say eventually those things that went your way early on, they even out over the course of the season. So today, when you hit the post twice and the ball doesn't bounce your way, and then the other team does get a bounce and does get a bounce twice in that first goal by Borini, then that's when things kind of even out over the course of a year. And so if you don't pick up the quality of your performance individually and as a group, eventually you're going to find yourself in situations like this one, where Verona deserved to win the game. The other thing I would say is that the dependency on Cristiano Ronaldo and whether he scores goals or not, it is becoming stronger and stronger, heavier and heavier, to the point to where you don't know where goals are going to come from unless he creates them and he scores them. They're not coming from Higuain right now. They're not coming from Dybala. And then after that, you start looking around, you go, wait a minute. Aren't they supposed to be better than this? And yet, you don't get the sense that this team really has maximized their potential just yet.
I thought Higuain at Chelsea last year was a bit of a fluke.
Mm-hmm. Got off to a great start this season.
I thought there's no way this guy can be this bad. Maybe he's just in the wrong place. Now, he may have got off to a decent start. I'll say a decent start. But in this game today, I'll tell you what, he would have been as well sitting next to us watching this game. Because when he's not getting any service, he gives you absolutely zero.
And you just said, we don't know where the service is coming from.
No.
We don't know who the player that is going to take somebody on the outside and put the ball into a dangerous area, where Higuain can make a difference for you. Sometimes we find now Higuain in a position where he drops in as a playmaker. It's like, wait a minute. Roll this tape back. Higuain, playmaker, that's not what he does best. But why is he doing this? Because, well, Cristiano Ronaldo has the freedom to appear wherever he wants to, and there's no service coming from anywhere else, and so therefore you're depending on Ronaldo to score the goals, or that's it.
I hear people talking about, Pjanic this, Pjanic that. This guy's never been the silky touch that plays balls through and makes passes and kills you. He's never been that guy. But if it's not him, who is it? Because it's not Ramsey. That's not happening. Dybala, half the time he's on the bench. I mean, where is it coming from?
Yeah. You mentioned Ronaldo's goal and the dependency on him, but that was vintage stuff today.
Yes, but look at where the goal came from. He picks up the ball in his defensive half, runs about 30 yards, past his guy, then lays the ball off. The ball is then played into space. He keeps his run going, and eventually 60 yards down the field, he takes somebody one-on-one, creates half a yard of space, and scores a goal. If that's what you're depending in order to win games, if you're Juventus, then that's a problem. Because in that great goal, that quality of goal doesn't happen every game, even for a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo. And it has to come from other people as well, so that Cristiano doesn't have all the attention on him, so that there are moments in which he can be the guy receiving the ball in an advanced area where he doesn't have to run 60 yards to score a goal.
They've lost 2 of their last 3 in the league. This the year?
It's beginning to feel like it. You know, I used to feel every time Juventus stepped on the field, regardless of how good or how bad they were, they somehow always figured it out. But I'm beginning to lose that. I'm beginning to lose that trust that that's what's going to happen. And certainly, if you're relying on a 34-year-old to run 60 yards to win you a game every week, that ain't happening.
You see, this is the year?
Well, if there was ever a year, this seems to be the one. However, every time that there's been an opportunity for Inter to take that step and say, here we are. We're here for the race. We are here for the fight. We're here for the party. They have found a way to take a step back rather than take a step forward.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.